The story opens with Takaroo, an ordinary Japanese office worker, returning home after a dull day at work. Tired of his repetitive routine, he decides to relax by watching TV. As he turns it on, something strange happens. His glasses begin to shine, and in an instant, he's transported into an unfamiliar world. There, a mysterious man welcomes him with tea, leaving Takaroo puzzled. The man introduces himself as the overseer of the solar system and demonstrates his power by forming a tiny planet, Matthias, on his fingertip. He explains that this planet is barren and unsuitable for life, but hints that Takaroo will be the one to change that. To illustrate, he drops water on the miniature world, saying it represents Takaroo's impact once he arrives. Confused and overwhelmed, Takaroo learns that he has already died, and entering this new world means giving up his soul. However, he's promised special powers to survive there. The man grants him infinite mana and asks if he'd like anything else. Takaroo jokingly requests a cute hair companion, which the manager agrees to, also gifting him an advanced search skill for discovering and selling rare items. On top of that, Takaroo receives a bottomless bag to carry treasures and the ability to speak the local language, Mian. Suddenly, Takaroo's body starts to disappear. Concern flashes across the manager's face as he worries he may have given too much power, but reassures him it'll be fine. Takaroo, still skeptical, feels like he's walking into a scam before his vision goes black. When he opens his eyes again, he finds himself leaning against a tree in a lush forest beneath a sky where a giant ringed planet looms above. Exploring the area, he eventually stumbles upon a village, but worries since he has no money. Remembering his new search ability, he tries it out. At first, nothing happens and he looks foolish waving his wand, but after drawing the spell on the ground, the skill activates. He discovers several items nearby, including a B-rank nightgrass, though most others are low-grade. Amusingly, what looks like a nice stone turns out to be monster droppings, graded C rank. Shocked but pragmatic, he stores it all in his magical bag. Arriving at the village entrance, he's greeted by a yawning guard, Captain Marlowe, who assumes Takaroo might be a knight. Takaroo corrects him, saying he's just a gatherer. Marlowe directs him to the general store, where he can sell his finds. Inside, the shopkeeper is astonished when Takaroo offers the monster droppings and offers a full gold coin in exchange, explaining it's enough to cover 2 nights at an inn. Takaroo is stunned that something so odd could be worth so much. The shopkeeper, delighted, even rubs the shiny item on his face and eagerly asks if Takaroo has more rare goods. When Takaroo hands over his herbs, the shopkeeper is impressed and curious why such valuable items are being sold in his small shop. Takaroo introduces himself as a traveling merchant, confident in his new abilities. Impressed, the shopkeeper offers him a serious commission. He wants rare Meethil ore from the eastern mountains. When Takaroo asks for a map, the shopkeeper provides one and also pays him a staggering 360,000 raids for his goods. The amount leaves Takaroo stunned, though the shopkeeper cautions him about the monsters guarding the ore. With his newfound wealth, Takaroo rents a room at an inn. A maid enters carrying a tub of warm water, explaining he can wash himself with it. Curious, Takaroo asks about taking a proper bath, only to learn that such luxuries are reserved for nobles, though water magicians can conjure them as well. Excited, he decides to try his own magic. After tipping the maid generously, he chants a spell. The word clean unleashes a rush of water that scrubs him spotless. Outside, the maid overhears his joyful reactions, amused and a bit bewildered. Though refreshed, Takaroo still longs for the comfort of a real bath. The following day, he sets out again, gathering herbs along the way until he stumbles upon a skeleton clad in worn battle gear. Shocked, he realizes it's the remains of a fallen adventurer. Among the bones, he discovers an amulet containing a heartfelt letter from the man's sister, urging him to return home instead of risking his life for money to heal their father. Saddened by the tragic story, Takaroo buries the body, builds a grave, and offers a prayer for the soul. Later, he sets up camp. Enclosing himself in a magic barrier, he lights a fire, boils water with vegetables, and simmers meat into a hearty stew. As he tastes the dish, he's amazed by the flavors this strange world provides. Energized, he ventures into the White Forest, an ancient dragon's territory. Casting a light spell, he spots herbs but no ore, though he he's thankful not to encounter monsters. Joking to himself, he wonders if his strong odor is keeping them away, and cheerfully rushes onward. Soon, he reaches an opening, but accidentally plunges into a massive chasm. Panicked, he frantically chants spells until one activates: levitation. A soft glow cushions his fall and sets him down gently. Catching his breath, he notices glowing ore symbols scattered around. Excited, he pulls out a hammer and starts mining, uncovering silver but no meathil. A search spell guides him to a hidden source, but tremors shake the ground. Urged by urgency, he blasts the rock with fire magic, revealing small fragments of myethil. Though the quantity disappoints him, he presses deeper into the cavern. There, he discovers a breathtaking underground lake radiating magical energy. Scanning it, he learns it's SS-ranked elemental water. Overjoyed, he thinks of its immense value, until he realizes it belongs to an ancient dragon's nest. Suddenly, a thunderous voice demands the intruder's identity. Takaroo ignores it, focusing on how to collect the water. But before he can act, the lake erupts and a colossal dragon emerges before him. The dragon roars in anger at being ignored, finally catching Takaroo's attention. Calmly, Takaroo apologizes for trespassing, which surprises the beast. Instead of fear, Takaroo shows composure, and the dragon respects his courage. Curious, it asks for his identity. When Takaroo reveals he's human, the dragon is shocked by the overwhelming mana inside his body, powerful enough to rival its own. The ancient creature introduces itself as Valdius, though Takaroo casually shortens it to V. Valdius requests a favor. He wants Takaroo to use his immense mana to awaken his slumbering offspring. As payment, he offers a massive chunk of pure myethil ore. Intrigued, Takaroo agrees and is given a giant black egg. Holding it close, he hears the faint heartbeat within. Following V's instructions, he channels his mana into the egg, but instead of gently awakening the hatchling, the egg greedily drains nearly all his energy. Valdius bursts into laughter, and Takaroo realizes too late he's been tricked. His body weakens, vision fading as he sinks into unconsciousness. In a dreamlike vision, a mysterious man scolds Takaroo for his recklessness, reminding him that dragons are not to be trusted. He warns that Takaroo's carelessness could jeopardize the space manager's protection, then cryptically mentions Takaroo's request for a cute partner. Before Takaroo can demand answers, the vision ends. He wakes inside the cave, greeted by a tiny squeaky voice. At first, he suspects Valdius is mocking him, but a light spell reveals the truth: a newborn dragon hatchling perched on his face. Startled but amused, Takaroo sets the little one down. Valdius explains that while the hatchling already has a dragon name, Takaroo may choose its common name. After some thought, Takaroo calls it B, inspired by its black scales. The baby dragon loves it, showering him with licks. Valdius acknowledges the full name, Black Nobi Valdius, and praises the nickname B. Then, to Takaroo's shock, he entrusts the newborn to him, claiming the child will grow stronger alongside Takaroo. With that, Valdius blesses Takaroo's bag with a beam of energy before retreating into the depths of the lake. Left with the playful hatchling, Takaroo realizes this bizarre yet incredible turn of events. Smiling at his new companion, he asks B if he's ready to join him on a grand journey. The little dragon squeals happily in response. Takaroo cleans him up, determined to protect both his nose and his dignity before setting off on the next adventure. After a while, Takaroo steps out of the cave with B fluttering cheerfully through the forest air. He decides traveling at night isn't wise, especially since his stomach is already rumbling. Choosing a good spot to rest, he sets up camp and pulls out a flask of magical elemental water. Seeing it reminds him how V linked his supply to the enchanted lake, ensuring B would always have something to drink. B eagerly gulps some down and squeaks for more, so Takaroo pours another cup. Unexpectedly, B pushes the cup toward him instead. Amused, he takes a sip himself and finds the magic water incredibly refreshing. Setting out a few magic stones, Takaroo activates a barrier to secure the campsite. Though the stones are rare and expensive, he doesn't mind using them freely. After all, he can create more with his own mana. He then heats one up to cook dinner, surprising B with how casually he turns costly stones into a cooking stove. The meal is the same as before, steak and stew, but the thought of it still excites him. When B's eyes lock onto the sizzling meat, Takaroo worries the food might not suit her. To test it, he gives her a small bite, but she yelps as it burns her mouth. Laughing, he blows gently on the food to cool it, and Bee soon digs in happily, stuffing her little belly. Watching her curl up afterward, Takaroo wonders why she doesn't seem sad about leaving her father. Bee simply hugs him in response, making him realize she's content staying by his side. Pleased, he checks her stats and is shocked to see she's already at B rank with impressive elemental powers. Despite that, he reminds himself she's still just a child who needs care and guidance. He gently warns her not to do anything reckless, or V will surely scold him. But before he can finish, Bee's already asleep. Smiling, Takaroo muses that perhaps the space manager paired him with a dragon for a reason. The next morning, Takaroo climbs up a nearby mountain and reaches the forest again. In the daylight, the woods appear calm and serene, easing his earlier worries about the strange world's rules. While Bee plays around, he uses his detection skill to search for valuable herbs. As he collects a few, Bee suddenly rushes back in fright. Activating his search again, Takaroo senses several monsters closing in. Realizing the cave bath must have washed away his intimidating scent, he decides to take advantage of the situation and hunt. Moments later, a massive rock falcon lets out a sharp cry behind him. Instead of being alarmed, Takaroo just finds it cute, especially thinking of how good its meat might taste. Perfect for some fried chicken, he jokes. As the bird lunges, he throws up a magic shield and fires a volley of ice needles, dropping it instantly. Turning, he spots serpent wolves emerging from the brush. One leaps at him, but Takaroo boosts his speed, leaps aside, hardens his body, and smashes the wolf's skull with a powerful kick. He swiftly dispatches two more before another sneaks up from behind, but a quick counter sends it flying. After cleaning up the pack, he begins gathering the monster meat and loot when his senses alert him again. Even more creatures are on the way. Not wanting to spend the entire day fighting monsters, Takaroo wonders how to retreat safely. Before he can think of a plan, Bee grabs him and starts flapping her tiny wings with all her strength. He doubts she can lift him, but to his shock, they begin to rise steadily. To help her, Takaroo casts a spell to reduce his weight, and together they soar through the sky. They climb higher and higher, so high that the sight of the earth below makes Takaroo panic. He yells for Bee to stop as they nearly breach the clouds, but the startled dragonling drops him in surprise. Moments later, he wakes up to Bee licking his face, realizing she managed to carry him far beyond the forest. Amazed by her speed, he thanks her but gently warns her to be more careful next time. Bee seems proud of herself and tries to hug him, only to accidentally headbutt his stomach instead. After recovering, they continue toward Tormy Village. Along the path, Bee notices a strange branch in Takaroo's hand. He explains that it's an Yggdrasil branch, an SS rank legendary relic he's had since arriving in this world. Its power has been dormant until now. Curious, Bee blows a puff of smoke over it, and to Takaroo's astonishment, the staff awakens with a faint magical glow. He chuckles, thinking he now looks more like a wizard than a simple gatherer. Their moment of peace is broken by a deep growl echoing through the forest. Takaroo warns Bee to stay alert, suspecting another monster nearby. But before he can act, Bee darts off toward the sound. Worried, Takaroo follows quickly and finds her circling a tree where a young elf lies unconscious beneath it. Thinking she was attacked, he approaches cautiously, until her rumbling stomach gives away the truth. She hasn't eaten in days. The elf weakly asks for water, so Takaroo hands her some from his bag. She drinks greedily and thanks him, though her hunger persists. Remembering his leftover meal, he offers her a sandwich, which she devours in seconds. Her messy, unrefined eating shocks Takaroo. He's never seen an elf behave so crudely. He teases that even stale bread would taste heavenly to someone starving, and she laughs, saying she finally feels alive again. When she admits she ran out of food after leaving the village in a rush, Takaroo lightly scolds her for being reckless. As she stammers an excuse, he catches a whiff of something unpleasant and frowns. She smells nothing like the elegant elves he imagined. Offended, the girl snaps back at him, thanks him for the meal, runs off embarrassed into the forest. Once she's gone, Takaroo resumes gathering herbs and materials until he spots a carriage in the distance. V's voice alerts him to be cautious, but as it draws closer, he notices it's pulled by an E-rank unicorn horse, a rare and elegant creature. The driver, a friendly man named Poron, greets him and asks what he's doing out there alone. When Takaroo explains he's heading to Tormi village, Poron and his family express surprise that he's traveling on foot. Poron's children giggle at Takaroo's appearance, but their father, noticing the Yggdrasil staff, asks if he's a magician. Takaroo quickly clarifies that he's just a gatherer. Impressed, Poron says it's an uncommon and valuable profession and mentions that they're also traveling to Tormi. He offers Takaroo a ride, but Takaroo hesitates, claiming he's too large for the carriage. The children insist, laughing playfully, so he finally climbs aboard the back of the wagon as they continue down the road together. As Takaroo rides in the carriage, he can't help but wonder why children in this world seem to like him so much. Poron teases him about his large frame, and Takaroo apologizes again for taking up space. Laughing it off, Poron assures him that it's fine. He's simply helping out a fellow traveler from Tormi. Takaroo feels touched by their kindness, especially seeing such young kids on what could be a dangerous journey. Poron's daughter, Yunnan, suddenly hands Takaroo a small gift. Grateful yet curious, he asks why they trust him so easily. Poron's son, Kin, explains that if he were a bad person, their enchanted bell would have reacted. Takaroo studies the bell, intrigued by its magic stone core, and thinks about making a similar item himself. Remembering his manners, he introduces himself properly, and Poron's wife, Eliza, warmly returns the greeting. Just then, something rustles in his bag. Bee is squirming to get out. The children immediately notice the sound, but Takaroo hesitates to reveal her, worried about drawing attention to such a rare creature. Eliza reassures him that adventurers often keep monster pets, so he finally lets Bee out. The moment she appears, the kids' eyes light up with excitement. Poron and Eliza are stunned to see a dragon, but Takaroo quickly downplays it, claiming Bee is just a normal black dragon to hide her true nature as an ancient one. When they ask if he's a dragon knight, Takaroo laughs and says he only found a dragon egg and decided to raise it himself. Poron is astonished that he could hatch one at all. Curious, Takaroo asks Eliza how rare dragons are, and she explains that even dragon knights are uncommon. True dragons are almost mythical. This makes Takaroo think of video game heroes back on Earth and wonder if such knights exist here too. That evening, they stop to rest for the night. Takaroo uses his magic stones to create a protective barrier around the camp. Poron feels relieved, knowing no monsters will sneak up on them, while Bee patrols the area with watchful eyes. When Eliza starts to prepare dinner, Takaroo offers to take over the cooking. The kids cheer as he pulls a full cooking set from his storage bag, believing it's some kind of wizard's magic. He chuckles and explains it's just a bottomless bag before starting to cook. Once the food is ready, the family gathers eagerly around. The children take the first bites and instantly fall in love with the flavor. Eliza praises Takaroo's skill, but Poron stays silent, trembling slightly. Worried, Eliza asks if something's wrong, then he bursts into tears, overwhelmed with joy after finally tasting real food instead of the dry rations from their travels. His dramatic reaction makes everyone laugh, and even Takaroo can't hold back a grin. After the meal, Poron brings out a guitar, and Eliza joins in singing a soft tune under the night sky. The children giggle and dance, while Takaroo plays along with them, feeling a warmth he hasn't felt in ages. For a moment, he forgets his old, lonely life on Earth, and simply enjoys being part of this family's joy. When the music fades, he tucks Bee in beside him, the baby dragon snoring softly. Looking up at the glittering stars, Takaroo smiles, grateful for the second chance this new world has given him. That wraps up the second episode. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next part, and check out the following video for what happens next.